5 seconds. Mr. Chairman, during the course of this conference and especially during the course of this debate, delegates have pointed out that they were expressing their own points of view and not necessarily those of their governments. That is fundamental. They have also made suggestions in regard to the ways and means in which the communist threat in various parts of the world can be controlled. They have quite rightly pointed out that the agency that we have at our disposal, namely the United Nations, should be used to a fuller extent. It is very easy to leave it to some organization to do the job which we as members of parliament are to face ourselves. We have a responsibility towards this issue despite all the military equipment that is sent to our respective countries as representatives of our respective parliaments have to make sure that disturbances by undesirable elements are not created in our territories. This is where we as delegates have a personal responsibility. It is not altogether a matter of passing over the problem to international agencies in order that they will have to keep peace. To our colleagues from Africa, I would like to say that when they have attained their freedom, a great responsibility is placed on them as members of the government to make sure that freedom reaches all sections of people. It is not sufficient for other nations to give any aid or to undertake the responsibility of educating your students in their respective countries. All this will be of no avail if the aid that is given is going to be dissipated. I think that we, as members of this conference, should give some thought to these factors. I have had the privilege of seeing some of the Southeast Asian countries. I have returned to my country with my mind made up. I believe that wherever a person lives, whether in a brick house or a wooden one or just a shack, it is the family that matters. So, whatever the difference, the Commonwealth family should be united in whichever part they live. Human feelings throughout the world are the same. Dear sirs, we are in receipt of your letter enclosing specification of the painting and decorating work to be executed on our property of apartment houses in South End Circle. We are quite satisfied with the specification but would like you to make the following alterations, namely the kitchen of the houses to be stained and varnished 2 coats best enamel varnish instead of being painted with brown paint 2 coats. The stairs of the houses to be painted with best white enamel paint three coats instead of being varnished. The top part of the kitchen walls of the houses to be washed with buff colored durex instead of being whitewashed, and a narrow shade of black paint instead of brown. The bedrooms of the houses to be painted brown instead of green. The dining rooms of the houses to be washed with Nerolax cream distemper instead of being painted pink two coats. From your enclosed letter, we learn that you are exceptionally busy just now and that you will not be in a position to begin work until the beginning of the next month. But as the houses are all let and the tenants are expecting to occupy them next quarter, we should be greatly obliged if you will start as soon as possible to prevent loss of rent. We hope that you will consider our request in good spirit and act speedily since the investment involved is very huge. Further, we are happy to enclose a check for rupees 20,000 in settlement of the third installment of the contract of decoration. Thanking you, yours faithfully, dear customer. We thank you very much for your letter of the last week asking us about the activities of your concern in regard to the financial help that are being extended to various business fields and the extent of financial help for an individual as well as the firms which would be available from our concern. In this connection, we take this opportunity with great pleasure to write you as follows. We are providing the term loan facility for the development, establishment, renovation, replacement, and reconstruction, etc., for various business, industry, and commerce. The rate of interest is subject to mutual consent, which may vary between 3 to 6% per annum. The interest is payable by monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or on an annual payment that may be decided in consultation and mutual acceptance. The rate of interest is to be calculated on the basis of simple interest. The repayment period of principal amount is between 10 to 15 years, which may also be decided by mutual consent and acceptance. The loan is to be secured by way of mortgage of the property, such as movable and immovable properties, like that of land and buildings, both residential and factory sites of business and industry. Please arrange to communicate us regarding the term loan facility required by you and the particulars of the securities to be offered, and on receiving of the same we assure you that we shall further communicate in the matter. We hope the above terms will satisfy you and also will suit you for the purpose of the loan, reply early, yours faithfully.